How are you feeling today? Seriously, are you aching? Is your knees hurting? How about your back, your hips? Oh, believe me, I know. I've been living in some serious pain for about 6 years, and today I am pain free with no medication. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just somebody who likes to experiment with their own body and make some tweaks and find out what's going on. So, I want to share with you today the pain, first of all, that I was in, and how I've come to this place where I am literally having no pain at all. I've got a few suggestions for you that you may try. Now, of course, as always, if you are under the doctor's care, do not try any of these suggestions without first running it by them. But then once you get the clearance, I hope that maybe you'll give some of these a try and see if anything works for you. It could be a lot of things. It could be menopause or postmenopause. It could be just regular getting older. It could be something more serious, of course, and I hope that you've talked to your doctor about that. If you have prolonged pain, definitely go and talk to your doctor. But let me share with you a little bit about what I've been through. See, I had a hysterectomy back when I was 45, and so I didn't have the normal signs when I started going through premenopause. But I know that I woke up one morning just suddenly, had a terrible shoulder pain, and it kept going. It was prolonged for many, many months, especially at night. Well, my mom's been passed for about 15 years, so I didn't have the ability to call and ask her, "Hey, did you have shoulder pain?" So I was just kind of winging it, if you would, and figuring things out on my own. And I have talked to my daughter, however, and told her of all of these stuff. Hey, if you wake up, if you hit 40s or so and you wake up with shoulder pain, you might be starting premenopause. Thanks, Mom. It was about 6 years ago, however, when everything started hurting. My shoulders, my knees, my hips, and even my groin was just in severe pain. And it wasn't just during the day, it especially got worse at night. If I slept on my left side, then my shoulder was hurting. If I slept on my right, my hip would hurt. And I've never been able to sleep on my back because it gives me terrible night terrors. Fun fact, I can't even read at night because I'll definitely wake up screaming, even if it's not a scary book. Not only was I in pain day and night, but I was also feeling terribly guilty. I felt like this somehow had to be my fault. It was something that I was doing or not doing, which only seemed to complicate everything and made me feel that much worse. I wanted to increase my exercise and I wanted to take longer walks, but the pain was just so great. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Sitting down was okay, but as soon as I sat for any length of time at all, it would be horrific trying to stand back up. I started researching osteoarthritis, fibromyalgia, all of the things. And I eventually went to the doctor and told her what was going on. And she ran some blood work and said, no, my autoimmune was fine. Everything looked good. And she just gave me a prescription for some pain pills, which helped a little bit, but I certainly didn't want to get attached to that. Eventually, I decided I would just push through it. And I ended up taking a job that was more physical in nature, where I would be standing and moving my body during the day rather than just sitting. And I was already drinking what I thought was a suitable amount of water. I was drinking a good bit of water throughout the day, but I started adding Pedialyte to my water. And that's my first suggestion. Turns out I was severely dehydrated and my body needed more than just water. It needed more electrolytes. And that's something I don't think we talk about enough. Now you can get all kind of additives to go in your water, including, I think they have, it's called Liquid IV. And I tried that, but I didn't like the flavors. But the Pedialyte just seemed to have the perfect combination and the perfect taste, because after a few weeks, I was at least able to get through my job okay. and I felt so much better during the day. So if you're curious about, that, I would suggest just using the powdered formula of Pedialyte or Liquid IV or something similar to get the electrolytes into your system. Around that same time is when I decided to go to a plant-based diet and give that a try. So I eliminated all meat and dairy. And one of the things that I noticed pretty quickly was that when I woke up in the mornings, my hands were no longer swollen. I couldn't remember the last time that I woke up and my fingers and hands weren't puffy. I know that has a lot with getting dehydrated during the night, but I think it also had a lot of cutting out the dairy as well. Now, one night I had another crazy thing to happen, and my ring finger just kind of popped out of joint. It was in the middle of the night, and I felt it, and I felt like my finger had come off. It wasn't painful, but it was just a very strange sensation, and I couldn't really straighten it. It was just kind of stuck there. And then when I got up in the morning, eventually it would be okay. I could still feel it pop, but I thought, that must be some strange arthritis. I've never had that before. And that went on for several weeks. I ended up having to tape the fingers together during the night to keep it from flopping out of place and waking me up. So I did that for a while. And then I started thinking about the medicine that I had been prescribed to help me sleep. I was thinking, if that medicine puts me to sleep and I'm in the same position for, say, 6 to 8 hours a night, then surely that would have some effect on my body, because I knew just sitting still for a small amount of time was really hurting. So I came off the medicine, and about 2 weeks later, I noticed I was feeling about 65% better. I was not hurting as much during the night, and magically, my finger was fine. I would suggest that if you are living in pain, talk to your doctor. Is it possible that some of the medications you're on is having a side effect of giving you body pains, especially if you have some joints that are suddenly popping out of place for no apparent reason? So maybe they can switch your medication to something else, or maybe you can come off of it altogether, again, under doctor's advice. I just started taking something over the counter to help me sleep. So I wasn't sleeping as deeply, but that actually was a good thing, because now I could move during the night when it got uncomfortable, and it really paid off. The last issue that I was having was my knee. And I don't remember exactly when that started. I guess it had started back 6 years. It would kind of come and go. But over the last few months here recently, it had gotten so bad, I couldn't even stand to fix dinner in the evenings. I would do a little bit, and then I would sit down and then come and do a little bit more and sit down. And I considered calling a vein specialist to check it out. When we went on vacation to the mountains, I had 2 episodes, I'd never had this before, where it just felt like an electric shock just flew down my leg. And it was so painful. And I sat down. I had to get a walking stick so that I could, to help me get around, but especially to get up at night to go to the bathroom or whatever. And I tried putting pillows under my legs and sleeping with pillows between my legs, and that just made it worse. And all I kept thinking was, I am too young to feel like I'm 85. This is ridiculous. And I was about to come home from the vacation, and I was going to call the doctor and say, look, we've got to get this straightened out. But I'm not one that really enjoys going to the doctor. So I thought, all right, there's one more thing I want to try before I take that step. Now, this may be a bit controversial, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what I'm doing. So about 3 to 4 weeks ago, I decided I would cave in and I would try CBD gummies. And I started taking 1,500 CBD every day, and my pain is gone. I'm still doing all the other things. I'm still on a plant-based diet. I don't do Pedialyte in my water anymore, but do, I am very aware of my water intake. And if the pain does come back, then I'll try the Pedialyte again. But the CBD seems to be working. Now, it may be a placebo effect. It may all be in my mind. But you know what? That's okay. I'll take it. All I know is that this week I have had no pain at all. I've been able to exercise more. I've been able to take longer walks, and I am so grateful. I will keep doing this regimen. Now, again, I would recommend do your own research. Talk to your health provider, of course. And if they laugh and say, oh, there's no science to back that up, then that's fine. You make your choice. I'm just saying that these are some things that have definitely helped me. And I am so glad to be in a place where I can move my body. And I don't feel 30, but I don't feel 85 anymore. That's a bonus. Tell me in the comments, what have you tried? Whether it's medications or, something else, particularly if it's an alternative to prescribed medications, how do you treat your pains and how is that helping? So like and subscribe this video and I will be back with more tips for you later. Have a great day.